Hey everyone, welcome to another GJBricks video. I'm Greg. I'm going to do a follow-up to my video of last week where I'm modifying this beauty of a set behind me, and you can probably see already it looks a bit different to last week. So I'm going to run through the changes. I'm not going to use quite the same format as last time, but I'm going to show you what I've done. I want to say a big thank you to all the great comments you guys gave me. I've put some of those suggestions into action, and I think you'll enjoy what I've done with this one. It's not quite what you're going to expect, I hope. So let's go into it. So as you'll remember from last week's video, I put a lot of work into making this building bigger so I could put the whole interior in it. Now, it might surprise you, but this is actually now smaller than last week. I originally had a 2 wide gap here on each side, which meant there was a gap inside of one line of studs. I've actually made it narrower, and I've brought back the round pieces that were actually in the set originally. So these nice round corners here just make it a bit more interesting, I think. It also means this sits a bit better now. That comes off really easily, and I'm pretty happy with that one. I added in the extra windows on the side as well, because I made it lighter on the inside. And one thing that really brings this to life now as well is this use of the bright orange line down the side, which if you remember in the original set there was a few orange highlights. You can see them in the rocket up here as well, in fact. So the general sort of colour scheme for the whole set is this grey, white, orange and blue. So I've tried to make use of that as much as possible. On the roof up here we have a big satellite dish I've made. Now you'll probably notice that the colours aren't as consistent as they could be. That's because I had to use what was in my parts bin. Anyway, but I had actually thought about turning this into sort of like a full kind of almost like a SETI style satellite setup. I still might do that, but I'm just not sure where I'm going to put it because it's going to be a bit big. But I wanted to make, having said that, I wanted to make the satellite dish bigger as well. So I've added some other antennas here. There appears to be a laser beam there as well, just in case aliens come to visit, I guess. The roof is now a bit simpler to take off as well, if I take the right bit of the roof off. So I've made it, the roof is now this section here, so it's a bit smaller. You can still see inside there, it's still the same interior. I haven't done a huge amount in there, other than one change, which is they now have the blue steps all the way down. So just sort of breaks it up a bit. I am going to do a little bit more on the interior of that one, but I will come and talk about that one in the video where I actually do that one. Taking these off, just added these handles on as well, so it's easier to remove. Just see into there. Pretty happy with how that's working now. I have also added in, let's just put that back, there we go. I've also added in the staircase on the outside here, so they can now get into the building. I'm still not 100% happy with that one. I'm probably going to change that one into a bit more of a ramp, and the rocket is not going to be staying here, but that's a story for another video. Now, where I've done a lot of the work this week is, you might notice that the building is raised up quite a lot here. So what I might do is pull this out and show you in a bit more detail what's going on underneath. So here's the building away from the city now. I'm pretty happy with how this is looking up here. I think it looks really good. I've got a couple more things I want to do, like a bit more detailing up here. I might do a bit more work on these sides. I've got some ideas just to liven them up a bit more. Around the back here is still the mechanism, but I've kind of left that open because I think it actually adds a bit of character to it. It doesn't need to be changed, doesn't need to be hidden. It's functional and does something. But what you'll notice here is this bottom area now is quite a lot higher and open and a bit dark in there now. So you can see a few things creeping through. It looks like some teeth, and there's some fences around it telling you not to go in there. So what we can do is take this top piece off, like so. And what we'll find under here is the alien landscape test area. If you remember, in the original set there was a small outbuild which was for the rover to experiment on. You haven't seen that one, check out my review, it's up in the corner here. This was an idea I had. I wanted to build a test area, and I was thinking, well, if I build it kind of separately from everything else, it kind of would be more space lost. I was thinking, oh, I've got this basement, I could build a garage, or I could build something absolutely ridiculous like this, which is just meant to be an alien landscape. There's all sorts of things going on. We've got this rather menacing looking flower creation up here that could attack you if you get too close to it. Got some vines growing up there. We've got the cameras up here so we can fake the landings. I mean, film the landings. I'm a believer that we went. Don't worry, I'm just joking. I found a use for my all of my extra Unikitty faces. I seem to be built into the walls and the ground and things like that. What's going on down here? I've tried to make it lots of colour around the sort of grey brickworks. This is obviously on Earth, not on a Martian landscape. So, yeah, we've got some sort of strange flower creations here that could do some damage to you. There's a banana growing on the wall there. Anyway, there's some star flowers. So I've just tried to really sort of pack it with colour. And down here we've got the original tile that came with the set, and the little Martian rover there is obviously running some experiments. So the idea of this was, I thought, just something a bit different to try and really make use of the space underneath in a really unexpected and different way. I think it works. I can definitely improve on some of it, but I was more playing with like the textures and colours in there more than anything, because it's just meant to be sort of something playful. But I just like the idea. Up here we've got a oh, there's my camera coming in. Up here we've got just a sort of emergency control panel of some sort if they need it to control the facility. So we've got some genuine fire here, just so you know. Never know what you're going to find. More cameras up there. So yeah, the idea of this is the astronauts can come down and do some experiments, check out the geodes that are in there. They can test the robot, that kind of thing. As you know, you would expect they would do some. They would be doing testing in an environment that replicates where they're going as far as possible. Obviously, bar the fact that there's no the gravity is different. But yeah, I thought it was a good use for that space. Let me know what you think about that. But I'm pretty happy with that one. I've left it kind of open and simple because it's meant to be functional, that vehicles can drive in. They can do all sorts of things under here. Alright, it's not the biggest space, but the idea is sound, and you know, a lot of these things are done in big warehouses, so I'm not going to build a big warehouse. It's going to take me a bit of time to do it, but I'm pretty happy with how that looks as a first pass. I will do some more work. I'd like to do some more with these flowers, and to be honest, I might extend it out a bit because I do think it would benefit from being bigger. I'd actually been entertaining, let's bring back in the command, the launch control here. I'd actually been entertaining the idea of adding in another level to this building, because I'm now liking how this is looking as a sort of much more functional building. So, you know, possibly adding in some office space, or maybe that becomes a middle floor, or I don't know, something like that. But I just feel like it's actually not a bad idea. You can see the oh, that's going to fall over on me. Thank you very much for that. You can see the unfinished side here, but that really doesn't matter because it's meant to be a test facility, so I can do something to cover that one up when I get to it. I will have some a fence along here at some point once my parts arrive for that one. Spot the odd window out there, but on the whole I'm pretty happy with how that is coming together. I think that was a good second step. The third step is going to be much bigger, but I will tell you about that one in a future video because I've got to do some other stuff in between here and that video. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of what I've done to update this further. I'm happy with how this is coming along. I have to say, I think this looks pretty cool with the test facility underneath like that. There's all kinds of things they can do, the scientists can learn. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this set. And as I said, thank you for those of you who did give me some feedback last time. I have tried to take it all on board. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit subscribe and turn the bell on. I post regularly. Don't forget to give this video a like and let YouTube know that you've enjoyed watching it. I've got a couple more videos here I think you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again very soon.